What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to I don't know. I'm gonna call the show "What's the Deal" because it's basically kind of what's the deal like when you going live. Because I never know. But welcome. I got my friend Monte Weaver coming on here in just a second. A really good friend of mine who does a lot of content creation stuff. And I literally texted him probably 20 minutes ago and was like, hey, man, I got an itch to go live. I know you're probably busy doing stuff, but I'm going to send you a link. Can you jump on? You want to go live? And he's like, yeah, dude, I'm in. And so I'm distracting him from making YouTube videos. But today we're going to kind of talk about the a little bit. And I went ahead and named, so I'm going to bring Monty on screen. What's up, my man? How's it going?
What's going on, Billy? Good to see you, man, as always.
Good to see you. So before pre-show, Monty and I were like figuring out some audio stuff. So if we sound funky, just let us know, and we won't fix it. Just as long as you can hear us, that's all that matters. Maybe my neighbor, you might hear my neighbor yelling at his grandson or something. But yeah, man. Well, dude, how's everything going, dude? I know we usually catch up on a phone call, so I thought maybe we'll catch up here a little bit, and then maybe talk about some creator mindset stuff because it's something that I feel like it's coming up a lot in conversation recently. But catch me up, dude. What have you been up to?
Man, busy, man. Doing a lot of cool brand collabs on some new gear that's coming out. I know we just kind of came out of CES in Vegas. Unfortunately, I didn't get to go because it's still on my bucket list of stuff to do. But a lot of companies have reached out in Q4 of last year, releasing some stuff. So actually had some microphones show up that'll be coming out soon. I have a portable streaming device that is like literally sitting over here off to the side that'll be released soon. So excited to like share some new stuff with people here in the next few weeks of some new gear.
Yeah, dude, I'm jealous, man. I'm jealous of all those gear deals. Like, for the quality of the brands that you work with, I'm jealous of those. Like, I got plenty of gear, but you can't pronounce the name on the box.
Hey, like some of the model numbers are just like, what were you guys thinking when you came up with this? Like, I can't memorize this long string of characters to repeat back to the camera. Can we come up with something a little easier to remember?
Yeah, dude, that's funny, man. That's how I feel with all this Amazon product. But yeah, man, I've been busy too. It's been an oddly busy January, which, you introduced me to the influencer program. I think I say your name on my live stream more than I say anyone else's name. But you introduced me to Amazon Live and the whole like shoppable content, I think a couple of years ago. And then, I didn't take action on it, started taking action. Everybody knows that story if they've watched anything that I've put out in the last year or two. But one thing that, last January, dude, I was not busy at all with like brand deals and working with brands. It was a very slow time. It was actually one of those times where I was like, is this even a viable business model? Because there's nothing going on. And so this year, man, I had kind of like marked in my calendar, like I'm going to do some home projects. I'm going to work on some, whatnot stuff and live selling, product, and maybe try to find resources for reselling and, like maybe order a truck of product and see if I could sell it or something crazy for January and February. But man, it hasn't slowed down. I haven't even had time to take a breath. It's just like, if you look at my shelf, it's just full, and I've been creating tons of videos. So I'm like, what the heck? So even though Amazon, it looks like they've removed some carousels, numbers are down, maybe the economy's punching people in the face right now, it still seems to be on the production side of product. Like companies are still pretty aggressive, I feel like. And it sounds the same for you too.
Yeah, and I think they're trying to figure it out too. It's like, how can we still sell our products? Even if, the consumers are, not spending as much, like what are these other creative avenues that we can showcase our products to people? We were just talking about our buddy James Hicks, and I was looking at one of the websites. He's like featured on the website. I'm like, oh, I know that guy. He's not just a person, and they showed all of these creators that are using this particular platform for, I think it's like a membership type of thing.
Oh, wow.
So I think these companies are understanding even more so now, past the conversations we had months and months and months ago, that they really have to start working with people like us that are everyday people. We don't have these millions of followers, but we do have communities. We do have some influence, and some, people look to us for some guidance and some answers. And, spending their what marketing dollars they do have with us, or if they don't have marketing dollars, how can it benefit us where it's something that's mutually, worth the relationship to continue. So
Yeah.
yeah, I thought the slowdown would be more too, because I did experience that last year too. But definitely, like they've been reaching out. The emails are pretty consistent.
Yeah, man. And it's and I guess I do think about that, and I do think, okay, if I was a huge company and I had this big budget, or maybe not a big budget, but if I did have $1 million budget, would I spread it out across 20,000 creators, or would I just give it to a few creators? And I guess it makes sense to, because we still have audiences, like you said, we still have influence. It might not be, but I also think it's like that personal touch too. If somebody reaches out to me and says, "Hey, what teleprompter do you use?" and I tell them, well, then it's more than likely I'm going to answer a couple questions in the DMs about that anyway, if they end up picking it up, or the microphone or whatever. So it's almost a smart move for these companies, because it's almost like a little bit of customer service in there as well,
Yeah.
that we don't even really like, wait, hold on a second, I spent like 4 minutes talking to this guy, or 10 minutes talking to this person. So that might be a little win for them, that they realize that we don't. So maybe we got to
Yeah.
put in a customer service fee.
I've been realizing that this week because I've gotten so many emails from YouTube subscribers this week. It's
Oh, wow.
usually it happened in 2020 because world shut down, so I was getting emails all the time. So that got kind of slowed down. But this past week, I got a lot of emails. Hey, what do you recommend? I'm trying to do this, and it turned into like customer support. And what can I use to do this? And I'm like, here's the email address of the company that can answer that specific question. So I'll try to send them over there. But like you said, that we do provide that support for them when they have questions on particular, hey, how do you set this up, or how do you do this? And if we know the answer, it's very easy just to send them back the answer. In my mind, I would think they would go to the company, but then again, hey, you don't want to get caught in that, hell, I got to wait now for a response and the
Yeah.
email and the troubleshooting.
Got my
Tech
ticket
1,
number.
Tech 2, Tech 3. Yeah, like I don't want to wait for all that. So they just come to us now for the answers.
Yeah, man, it is pretty interesting. That's one thing that I'm gonna start taking into consideration with some of the stuff, because I've answered, and it doesn't matter what, if the product is well known or nobody knows the name of it. I've had people ask me a lot of questions about particular monitors or whatever, and some I'm unqualified to answer. I'm like, man, I was just unboxing it and showing it plugs in and works. Like, I don't know what else to tell you, but
yeah.
So I do think it's pretty interesting that that whole shift. And I've been focused so much on brand deals probably since I started the Amazon thing. Well, probably 6 months after I got started, I was like, dude, I'm going all brand deals. Like, I gotta create cash flow all the time and not just rely on these big Amazon and TikTok and whoever to hopefully present my video and help me get transactions and get commissions. But and so, dude, I've had a ton of fun doing that. And one of the things I always get asked, and this is kind of interesting, because now, after being in the program for 2 years, I've had a little bit of success, especially, I think, as a content creator, I've had a lot of success. If you look at it from like, oh, when does a content creator monetize from start date to monetization? It's typically a few years, which if I back up as a content creator overall, I mean, I did monetize podcasting super quickly, but I have been in the game to really say, like, last year was one of my better financial years. I did spend a lot of time putting in the reps. Like, it wasn't like every year was a banger since I started, as a full-time content creator. But I also think of myself as like an entrepreneur first, content creator second. And so I'm always thinking, like, how is this going to make money before I hit record? And I don't know that a lot of content creators will do that. So the question I get all the time, and I'll ask you this, is how do I get, how do I get started, and how do I get as a content creator? I know how I get started, but it's how I get started with everything. Super messy and chaotic, and I just watch a lot of YouTube videos. But I know a lot of people who want to be like Amazon influencers. They want to be TikTok creators. They want to create a little side hustle, but it's not second nature to them. They didn't start like you and I did, when we were younger, like goofing off with video cameras. So what would you say to somebody who's like, don't know anything and they just want to get started today?
Yeah, I think if they really identify what their passion is, what they really like doing without trying, if you will, like you said, like some of us gravitated toward techie stuff because that's just what we liked. we have an advantage when it comes to content creation because we know how to use that techie stuff to get our information out there to another techie thing called social media. So we
Yeah.
kind of fell into something that we liked and able to leverage that. I was talking to my mom, funny enough, a couple weeks ago because I started getting this particular company sent me an email for clothing. So I'm actually rocking one of their hoodies right now. So I'm going to actually
Oh,
start doing some men's apparel
that
stuff,
looks
right?
cool. I was
And
gonna say it's a cool hoodie.
yeah, so it's their clothing. I am not a fashion influencer. It's nothing that's ever crossed my mind, right? But doing reviews of clothes, my mom saw all of this stuff that was showing up, and she was like, "Ooh, I would do that." And I said, "Would you really do that?" Because she's not on social media. She has no Facebook account. She has nothing, but she does like good clothing. Like when
Yeah.
she shops, she's very particular about what she buys. And so that is kind of her trigger to say, I'm willing to do social media and create content and get out there outside of her normal comfort zone because of something she actually likes, which is nice
Mm.
designer clothing.
Yeah.
So she's interested in that, and my wife is kind of the same way where she really wants to tell her story, her life story. She's a social media viewer. She's not a content creator, but she will scroll through the TikToks and the YouTubes. But the trigger for her to get interested in now doing a podcast is being able to just tell her story and just get it out there. And so, finding what you like, I think is really a good first step because if you just go after what makes the most money, you'll probably fall off really quickly because you're
Hmm.
just not going to have the passion to do it. Like you said, Billy, like you
Yeah.
hit me up, like I need to do this YouTube video, and I do tech, and I'm don't really want to do the video. I'm trying to create these other things to do to not create that particular piece of social media content.
Yeah.
I love it. So if it's something you don't love, oh, you're definitely not even going to fight the
Yeah.
battle of like trying to create that piece of content. But what's the alternative? How can I still do something? Oh, let's jump on a live stream. And so now I'm still creating a YouTube video. Like I'm still
Yeah.
creating content with you. It's not the content that I planned out to do, but I still know that I have to show up and create this content in some form or fashion. So finding something you love to do, like we both love live streaming, we both love tech. So it was like, hey, let's do a live stream. Okay. I'll do a
Yeah.
live stream because I like doing that. So
Yeah.
and then content will just kind of naturally follow after.
Yeah, man, and I think that's the thing too. And and you and I are in the same communities and kind of the same networks, and or a lot of them. And that's what I kind of love is this diversity in the creator community and really the creator economy. And that's where I focus most. I'm like, once again, I'm not over here like, oh man, I'm so passionate about creating product videos. I'm like, dude, they make the bank go cha-ching, and that's what I'm after. And it's a lot of fun. I mean, it is a ton of fun. I love gifts. I love getting stuff every day from all the postage people. I love when they show up all at the same time too. It really cracks me up, and they all look at me like, "What are you doing? Why are you getting 15 packages today?" And I'm like, "Don't worry, I don't have an addiction to Amazon." But I do find that it's pretty fun in our community to see people who like really dominate in like short form content. Like they just like love short form. I'm more of like a live to drive, even if I could just go live all day and talk about products and talk about what I do, if that was like a good stream of revenue, or if I was organized enough to do it like you do, where you go live. I saw you live on Amazon yesterday, and I'm sure your editing guy right now is chopping those up, and there'll be short form content on Amazon. But it's cool because there's so many avenues of being a content creator. Is like the short form, like TikToks and shorts. There's more of the, I guess, like longer form, like podcast style, kind of like what this show is. So it's kind of an interesting to see, and I see everyone kind of succeeding in their own way. I'm like wow. So if you don't like doing this, you can just switch over and start doing short form, or you can do long form, or you can sell sponsorship deals, or you can do product deals, or you can do whatever, be like get paid to be a host for someone else's podcast or something. I don't know. It's like so many different ways that you can find something that you enjoy within this industry. Like you said, your mom was probably not interested at all, but then she's like, oh, you're putting on a shirt and telling how it feels and how it's made. Like, I can do that. And same with my wife. My wife is totally not in front of the camera person, but she saw me go live on Whatnot, and then we've been studying some people that are in the clothing space over there, kind of selling the secondary market. And I'm like, honey, you love clothes, you love going and searching for stuff, you know a ton about it. Why don't we take a shot at it? Why don't we, at least sell your stuff? So now she's like, well, okay, is there a way that we can do it without me being on camera? I'm like, honey, you're talking to the producer guy. Like, yeah, of course. Like, I'll put my head on your body, whatever, and move my lips while you talk. We'll sell some stuff.
There's some people that have like literally done really well just putting a mask on and never revealing their true identity. I came across this YouTube channel the other day, and the guy he does like current events, real time stories, and like he just doesn't identify himself. Like, and that's the persona. That's what attracts people to come to him. He wants to tell this information, but just doesn't want to be in the public facing, letting people know who his true identity is. And it's pretty funny, his channel, just to kind of watch it, because that's part of the whole thing.
Yeah.
So there's so many different ways to do it.
Yeah. So, and it's like, and a lot of people are nervous about it. I know a lot of people are like, I want to be in the Amazon influence program because it'd be a cool side hustle, but how do I build that initial audience and that initial engagement to be able to, kind of move into that other, because you got to have certain qualifications and requirements to be a part of these affiliate programs, but they they don't want to do that, and I think that's the cool thing is like there's so many ways, and I just noticed Gary Vaynerchuk doing this BTS or behind the scenes for people who don't know what that means, and he is now going live on Twitch, live streaming on Twitch, muted microphone, and having these high-end meetings with all these high-end brands, and then like coming off mute and like maybe hitting a point or two, kind of going to the Twitch audience, but it's all like behind the scenes. So it's like you just see a wide shot, similar to like something like this, where he's got somebody across the table from him, just sitting there and like talking. And I'm like, dude, that is so cool, man. Like, and it's one thing I'm looking to do with my setup is to just do a Twitch stream, because all I'm doing is recording video. And so many Amazon influencers are like, dude, how do you record 135 videos a month? I'm like, let me just show you every single day. I just sit here and push buttons on my Stream Deck or whatever. So it's kind of crazy.
I've been thinking about that too. It's like almost like a 24-hour feed. Me and my wife, we were talking about the fish tank, and either getting another fish or getting a bigger tank or something like that. And I'm sitting there and I'm playing with my camera. Let me grab it right here. It's one of these Ozbot tracking cameras, and so it's literally just like a wireless camera. It's 4K, and I was like, I need a way to test this out and play with it. I'm like, let me do a 24-hour stream of the fish. I'm sure people will just sit here and just watch these fish swim around all day long.
That's
and so I was thinking about the same thing for me. I was like, what a day in the life of Monte, creating content, just setting up the cameras, going live stream. People look at it and say, hey, every so often, I jump in there and, tell people what I'm doing, or they can just see and hear behind the scenes. And it's content. Like, people watch this stuff, and I try to tell myself, it's not about always what you do, Monte. It's like, what do other people do? And other people will sit there and they will watch this stuff for hours. We've all watched the zoo cameras before, especially if you live here anywhere close to DC.
Yeah.
Like when the pandas were here, like everybody sit there and you just watch the zoo camera for like 20 minutes. It's just, all right, Billy, don't laugh at me. One of my favorite channels for probably like the last 6 months has been watching the LAX airport. There are these guys that go and they sit there. They have this camera set up. They've got cameras. They do audio, and all they do is talk about the planes landing and the planes taking off. And I will sit there and I will have it in the background, and it's just airport landings and takeoffs. One of my favorite channels to watch. They have thousands of videos all day long. That's all they do. It's just, and it became a whole business for them. They have their own apparel, their own merch, and that's what they love. They love airplanes. And they created a channel, and people will sit there. Hundreds of people will sit there on the feed for hours. I think they live stream about 6 to 8 hours a day, just watching planes take off and land.
Now, are they doing that like on Twitch, on YouTube? Are they
On
multi-streaming
YouTube.
like what we're doing right
YouTube
now?
is where I watch it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if they're doing it
Dang,
on the
dude.
other channels, that's probably 2x, 3x, 4x the
Two.
money. But
Yeah.
yeah, I watch it on YouTube almost every single day at some point in the day.
Yeah, man, that is crazy. Well, and I kind of get in talking about mindset, talking about creator mindset. I kind of get in that funk a little bit where, especially like on TikTok, or I'm trying to grow my audience over on TikTok so I can get a part of their creator program. And part of my big hang up is like, dude, I want to bring value all the time.
Hmm.
And what I'm trying to realize and trying to like talk myself out of like thinking that way, because some people just don't want the value. They don't give a rip if they can make $100,000 a year on Amazon. They don't care about creating content. They don't care about what I do. They just want to be entertained. So it would be
Yeah.
entertaining of me just sitting here working and not saying anything, or just picking my nose or doing whatever, and they go, "Oh, that guy's a normal dude. Like, he's just
Yeah.
working." And I saw this on TikTok a lot, where people, and I don't even know how they get away with it. Like, I was sitting there thinking, as a business owner, like if somebody was sitting in the office over there working in like just streaming on TikTok all day. But I see radio hosts doing this. I
Mhm.
saw some chick at Amazon. She was just like sitting on TikTok live, just like pushing buttons on an auto machine that's just like picking products. And I'm just sitting there like, I mean, I'm talking thousands of people.
Yeah.
Thousands of people are just watching like this girl at work. And I'm like, that's insane, dude.
Yeah.
Like, and like you said, it's not about what I want to do or what I know or what kind of brand necessarily I want to build, but it's like, can I get the attention of people, and then have that be a top line funnel, if you will, like
Hmm.
to my content, and
Yeah.
bring them down into something else. Because who knows? I mean, somebody will watch and be like, "Oh, I can." That guy's an idiot. He doesn't even know what he's talking about when he's talking about those wireless mics. I could do a better job making those
Hmm.
videos, and maybe inspire them to do something else. I don't know. It's pretty wild though. I can't believe it that people just watch other people work. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
and especially if you pick the right platforms that allow you to monetize the fact that people are just watching you, even if they never buy a product, just the fact that they're watching you, and
Yeah.
that platform allows ads to run or links to be clicked to go off site, or there's affiliate stuff in there that they might click on. There's a cookie cash to them, and whatever they buy anywhere else for 30 days after, those are the platforms that I really, really like, to use that type of strategy on. So, um,
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
it's wild what people will sit there and just watch all day.
Yeah, it is pretty crazy. So so there's some people that's commenting. I had the wrong comment tab over here on Ecamm. I was like, there's people watching, but I didn't see it. So whoever is Facebook user. So first of all, if anybody's watching on Facebook, you have to like let Ecamm have permission or something like that to show your name. But it says, "I love the hoodie." Was going to comment on it. I don't know who Facebook user is. I'm not watching my Facebook feed, so I can't even see who that is. "I don't love making shoppable videos for so many different genres. I love going live with Cheryl." Oh, this has got to be Gina. Talking about love going live. Let's see. Okay, I was on Facebook Live. So, okay, on YouTube. Okay, that's cool. That's Gina watching us. So
What's up, Gina?
hopefully and well, that's another thing too. Like, I do think like making all these shoppable videos does take a special type of system and type of person. And I'm kind of the person where, I don't want to be like, "Oh, I'm ADHD," but I technically was diagnosed with ADHD as a child. I imagine there's probably still a lot of struggles when it comes to like keeping my attention. And so it's cool for me to do like headphones and then a portable monitor and then like a pillowcase or whatever. It's like,
Mm.
I love that variety of just doing those shoppable things. But once again, I kind of figured out what I enjoy doing, and then just take a step in doing it. And very much like you shooting your YouTube video or not shooting it today, or being distracted by me. Once I get started, I'm good. Like when I came in this
Yeah.
morning, I'm like, "Oh, I don't want to do this. I just want to chill. I just want to watch YouTube. I just want to think. I want to go like create a clubhouse room." But then when I started taking just a little bit of action, I'm like, "Okay, what's the easiest product that I can shoot a video about right now in my office?"
Mhm.
And then I'll just shoot that one video, and then I'm like off to the races. I'm like, "Okay, that was easy.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I forgot how easy it was yesterday when I did it 10 times. This morning, I'm like, "Oh, is it that hard?"
Yeah, this is definitely my motivation to do the YouTube video later, because the same setup is what I'm going to be doing. I'm literally going to be talking to the same camera. I'm probably going to use the same microphone, and I'm already here. The lights are already turned on. I'm already dressed in what I was going to wear for it. So, you know, finding those small things to help you get started is good. I didn't plan on doing a live stream today. I didn't plan on doing Amazon product videos today, but I actually did both of those already. So and some of the product videos I did, Billy, there was no influencer videos on them. So I'm like, oh, that is very productive.
That's even
So like,
better.
even if I don't get
Yeah.
to my YouTube video, like I'll still be productive in creating this content. So, yeah, I love that. Finding some small steps to get you going. And
Yeah.
at least you're not sitting there idle or like, in your mind all day trying to figure it out only for the next day to come. And you're like, what did I do yesterday?
Yeah, man, and that's one thing that I've like been working on this year in particular is just getting stuff out of my head because I have so many ideas and I'm like want to do this and I want to do that, and then one day my wife's like, "Why don't you just write it down?" I'm like, "Oh yeah,
Mhm.
that's a pretty good idea." She's like, "It's taking up brain space. Just write it down, get it out of your head." I'm like, "Oh, honey, you're so smart. That's why we're married." and
Yeah.
so and so now I just put it, I just write it down, put it in my notes, put it somewhere, and then go back and kind of revisit those things. And I think that's one thing of getting started too. It's like get your concept, get your idea, and give yourself a timeline. Is what I did. So
Yeah.
with the Amazon Influencer Program, I just decided that I was going to give myself 90 days, and then from those 90 days, I would see what was going on. And so I think for a lot of people wanting to get into the game, it's like give yourself a concept, pick one platform, pick a topic or whatever. I mean, I would probably pick a niche to start just to be able to build content around. That way I feel confident in what I'm talking about, and then just give yourself a timeline of like 90 days. And that's what I did
Mhm.
with Amazon Live. I was like, okay, I'm going to give myself 90 days to do as many brand deals as I can and see if this is a viable product. And through that 90 days, I built this entire structure that I still use a year and a half later of, doing deals every morning. I have a whole system that I follow every single morning down to a T, unless I get a little distracted like today maybe. But other than that, it just kind of worked itself into there. So, and then I think another big thing, Monty, that people have to overcome, and I'll see what you think about this, is this whole imposter syndrome. Like, I'm not the
Mhm.
smartest person in this industry. I'm not the smartest person to talk about this subject. How do you overcome it? I know we all deal with it as content creators. How do you overcome that?
How do I overcome it now is an I don't care what you have to say syndrome. Because YouTube comments are vicious, especially in spaces where it requires some sort of expertise. And I had a video up, and I don't think this person will find it over here. I don't know who he was. But I was talking about like a particular setup, and I use particular cables.
Yeah.
But just like anything in life, there are options. So if you want to travel, you can travel by car, by boat, by plane, by train. And when you're creating content, sometimes you feel the need to explain all the different options to cover all the bases. So you feel like you've gave all the information you're capable because somebody else might have shown all the options. I'm not that guy. Like I just really tell people from my perspective. And I
Mm.
try to say that as my buffer to the imposter syndrome because I'm not going to necessarily tell you everything. I might forget to tell you everything or the specifics, or I might mess up my words on accident and forget to edit that in post. Like I'm a real person. There's things that I'm not going to get perfect. And so now that I'm in that space, it's hey, if Billy makes a video on a microphone and he talks about this capability and I don't know that capability, I'm not going to sit there and try to force it. I'm just going to talk about the thing I like about it. Oh, maybe the only thing I know is that this is a black microphone with a little gold trimming here and this little nugget. I don't know what it's called. That's what I'm going to say and let you know that I'm okay saying that. No, I don't know hurts and all of the stuff that goes along with it. But what I do know, I'm going to be confident in that. And so
Yeah.
that's what allows me to kind of get past that, because you're trying to review tech stuff with some of the people that are certified in certain things, or they're in a lot more live environments where they can test more things in real-time environments, or have teams that help them put together this information. Once I started learning that there's other factors of how these people are able to produce what they produce, then I'm like, oh, I'm not even trying to give myself a headache trying to compete with that. Let me just tell you what I do know, how I use it from my perspective, and then if you wish to say something else, then I give them the option. I'm like, hey, you don't have to watch my video. Here's something that will probably be better for you. Like, I let
Yeah.
them go over to what they want. But I try my best not to even focus on the harsher comments in YouTube, but look at the ones that are always the positive ones, because there's always more positive than negatives. And
Yeah.
I forgot what it's called. It's something, but how we gravitate toward the negative. It'll be like one negative and 99 positives, but you gravitate to the one negative. Like, why is that? So I
Yeah.
really try to just focus on those positive comments, because that means I am helping people, providing value for those people. And I just, do my best to support the 99 versus the one, because
Yeah.
you're always going to have those people that just
And those
are
people
those people.
and those people aren't bad. I was watching
Right.
I can't remember this guy's name, but he's built a really big YouTube channel. And he said that one of the ways that he did that was he, like, early on was creating a video and he mispronounced a word. And he's like, dude, the comments went crazy. Like, people like putting the, like, how you read the dictionary and it like breaks the word down, and do it, like putting links to like how do you pronounce stuff and all this, everything. And he's like,
Translator in there.
and he's like, he's like, the comments went wild. And he's like, but what happened was that video got more views than any other video, because the algorithm or YouTube was like, oh, this video is popular because there's a bunch of, they don't know what they're saying, but they're just a
Right.
bunch of people on it. And so he took that and started pronouncing words in his video wrong on purpose, just to get the reaction of those, those keyboard warriors that, were English teachers or whatever. And so he was like, dude, he's like, it's a thing in my business. Like, in my videos, I do it. And people who are part of my community, they look for that carrot every single video. And then that will be in the comments of like, oh,
That's
I found
hilarious.
it. This is what this guy said wrong. And he's like, but it helped me get all this traction because I was able to get the comments just fired up with like, this guy's an idiot. He doesn't know how to pronounce like carrot or what, whatever the word was. And I was just like, dude, that is such a hack. That is so crazy. That would be, but it's true, man. Like, haters make us famous. That's what a lot of people, they'll say that, like, haters make me famous. And that's especially in the social media, content creation world. It's like, get that chat fired up with people calling you dumb, and you'll get more
Yeah.
views.
Yeah, you
So-
got to have some people to help you get your name out there, and if they want to, they don't realize it. Like, the more you keep coming back and saying what you want to say, it's like, yeah, thank you for leaving the comment. I appreciate it. I'm just not
Yeah.
gonna read it, but I appreciate it.
Yeah. Bradley Vincent said that you're wearing a sweater from one of he says one of his brands. So
Oh, did I get the brand after Bradley? Bradley, this is a very comfortable hoodie. Well, I'm glad they sent me multiple hoodies. They sent me dress shirts too, so now I got to get back into the dress shirts. So yesterday's live stream was definitely different for me, Billy, because I was like,
because you're doing all
I'm trying
apparel.
to. Yeah,
That's
I
awesome.
felt like a fashion influencer. Like, I'm putting on shirts and taking them off, and putting on sweaters and taking them off. I was like, oh, this is what that feels like.
That's great, dude. Yeah, I do some apparel, but not a ton of it, and it's probably because I just got a steamer just to steam them out, because like I would just bring them out of the bag and put them on, and the company's like, hey, can you at least iron that shirt? I'm like, oh,
That steamer's right there, Billy. My steamer is in eyesight.
Yeah, so I got a little steamer. So now if I get them, but I think after the first couple, they're like, no, dude, like, you got to iron the stupid shirt. I'm like, well, don't seal it up so tight. It won't come out wrinkled. I wear t-shirts. That's what I do. Like
Uh,
I don't know anything about a dress shirt. So
yeah, I'm still waiting on my first my feedback from the company because I sent them the link to the live stream yesterday. So I said, here it is. So they haven't said nothing back yet. So we'll see what critiques I get. I'm willing to adjust and uh get that positive feedback because I do like their clothes. So
yeah.
I do want more.
Well, dude, and clothes seem like a pretty good niche because you can, like, I know I got a shoe deal with this shoe company, and if I get a deal with a microphone company, they'll send me 1, 2, 3 microphones a year or something like that. But if I do like a deal with this shoe company, they'll send me like 20 pair at a time. I'm like,
Yeah, yeah,
dang, dude, this is
yeah.
crazy. Now, only
Whole
problem
wardrobe.
is I don't know how to resell shoes, so now I get a bunch of shoes in there. I got to figure out how to
You
sell.
gotta wear those, Bill. You gotta wear those.
I don't need 20 pair of shoes. There's like a pair of snow boots. I haven't seen snow in 10 years.
Uh, look, once we hook you up with the apparel company, you have shoes and apparel.
Yep.
Like, Billy,
Yeah.
we're gonna have a whole new 2025 Billy.
Dressed by Amazon, styled by Amazon.
What's funny though, Billy, is so I'm able to leverage the clothing now in the future videos. So literally my next I think 6 videos, I'm going to wear a different piece of apparel that they send me and put that as one of my description line items is hey, the outfit I'm wearing is from this company.
Oh, yeah.
My audience is a watching for tech videos, but
Yeah.
if they like the shirt or
The
the
style.
jacket or whatever, it's like, hey, if you're interested, click here, go there. I get compensated. I got to wear a shirt anyway on
Yeah.
camera, so hey, I'll
That's a great
wear
idea.
something and um, I'd be like you, structured the deal where they would rather pay me um a extra percentage over time versus the lump sum that I asked for up front. They
Yeah.
said, no, we'll pay you X amount every single month. I was like, okay. So I
Let's
said,
go.
yeah. So every single YouTube video now will be me probably wearing one of their pieces of clothing for
That's a great
for the
idea.
foreseeable future. Yeah.
Yeah, to drive that off-site traffic. That's a great idea. I
Yeah.
need to do that with Ecamm. I want an Ecamm shirt. Imagine, create, repeat. So
Oh, okay.
I just got this bad boy in. I won it on one of their YouTube videos. They were like I think they're announcing the new apparel and something else, and I happened to comment at the right time and won.
Oh, okay.
So maybe Ecamm. I'll never wear this again until you pay me. No, I'm just kidding.
You love Ecamm too much. We
Dude,
all love
oh,
Ecamm
oh
too much.
yeah.
I officially have switched over this year, so I
Let's
am part of the
go.
Ecamm fam
Let's go.
officially this year. So I'm excited for that partnership too.
Dude,
So yeah, I need to.
you should do the Ecamm Fam show if you haven't signed up with Katie yet. You should do
I,
that.
yeah, so we've definitely been chatting on some ideas. So hopefully, I'm still trying to get like super comfortable with the platform and all the ins and
Yeah.
outs. And, like I was playing with this camera and the NDI function. Like, oh my
Oh
gosh, I
yeah.
love the NDI.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I'm loving the platform for live streams like this. Just like jumping on is real easy. Like it's like, and it all started from just showing up, creating content, right? It's like we get connected with these companies, and they don't even feel like companies, not like they feel like
No, yeah.
friends. It's like hell,
Yeah.
yeah, just call up guys over at Ecamm, like
Yeah.
yeah, they're cool. Just send them an email. So it's not like this. And it's funny, I know you get the questions like, how do you reach out to brands? How do you reach out to companies? But if you have relationships with people, that makes it a lot easier. It's just to say, hey, here's my
100%.
friend over here. This is what he does. He'd be interested in, sending you some ideas. So and that's how working with Ecamm started. Literally, one of our friends in the live streaming space, he said, hey, such and such wants to talk to you. Are you interested? I was like, yeah, absolutely. And so it started with him reaching out to me on behalf of the company. It wasn't even the
Yeah.
company directly. So
That's awesome.
just showing up. Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's the main thing. Is just showing up.
Dude, I think you make a great point. It's like showing up, networking, getting into relationships, and not just showing up on your own content, but showing up in other people's content. Like I'll jump into, James Hicks. We were talking about him earlier. I mean, he's a hustler, man. He's out here doing all kinds of different shows, which are pretty cool. And
Yeah.
then I'm in his comments. I'm in his comments whenever I can. And so we're having a whole conversation, side conversation. We got Bradley over here, we got Gina over here. And when you keep showing up in people's feeds and their comments, and you get in their networks, and that's like Ecamm. Like I don't do as much content about Ecamm, but I bet I've sold a lot of Ecamm packages, and not even through my affiliate link, just
Right.
because I'm on these platforms all the time. And people are like, how do you show up like that? How do you switch your camera? How do you do this? How do you do that? And I always forget I'm an affiliate. I always forget that
Mhm.
I get a commission off of there. But I bet Ecamm would be calling me going, hey, man, because I know, like, over on Clubhouse, I sign all kinds of people up. I'm like, Ecamm
Mhm.
or die, dude. Like,
Yeah.
that's your two options. Either you use
Yeah.
Ecamm or you pass away.
Look,
So,
we need to get that Apple compensation too, because in order to use Ecamm, you need to have an Apple computer. So it'd
yeah.
be real nice to get a little extra compensation. Hey, we just sold like 50 million MacBooks too.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, dude, it's kind of amazing. Like, but it's cool to be, and I think Ecamm really. And there was one point, if I'm being super honest, that I was frustrated with Ecamm, and it was more to do with my setup in Puerto Rico. But on paper, I had all the stuff that it took to make it happen, but for whatever reason, I couldn't make it happen, and so I was super frustrated. And I was like, dude, I'm just gonna go out. I'm gonna go on to something else. I'm gonna go to Restream or wherever. And at that point, I think it was Glenn or Ken. They're the twins that own Ecamm. One of them messaged me. Was like, hey, dude, let's jump on the Zoom and let's go through it. And man, he spent like an hour on Zoom call. The owner of the company spent an hour on the phone with me, walking me through every step of the way, giving me different ideas and troubleshooting it and testing it. And not that I expect that from Apple or Tim Cook calling me or anything. Go, let me work through your Apple product. But that was when I was like, you know what, I'm Ecamm for life, because no other company's going to do that, man. They're not.
Yeah.
No, I mean, maybe they are. Maybe I haven't worked with them, but I think that's when I was like, okay, dude, I'm in. You guys won my business, because yeah, I was frustrated, and it still didn't work because it was still my internet. Something was going on with the internet down there. But just the fact that they were like, hey, we're gonna try to get this working. We know this is important. I was doing a daily show at the time. And
Mhm.
so that's why I'm like, yeah, dude, I'll wear your T-shirt. I'll promote it with no affiliate links. Like, I'll do whatever. Like, people need to be in a community of content creators who are like there to really help each other out and lift each other up. So it's a lot of fun, man. I love that community. It's one of my
Yeah.
favorites online.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Ecamm fam, yeah. I'm so happy to be part of, because I was always like the outside guy looking in because I was
because you had
using
deals with
another platform.
everybody else, that's
Yeah, I
why.
had deals with everybody else except for them. So I was like, oh my gosh, like everybody else is like talking about all these things they can do and how they can do this so easy. Da 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 da. Okay, whatever. But then but they were all together, and I was like out here on this island by myself. Like, I know what you guys are talking about. I'm just not like part of the family yet. So
You're like that kid in that Hallmark movie, or that dude, his girlfriend broke up with him, and he's looking through the window, and she's with her new boyfriend on
yeah,
Christmas, and he's just sitting
yeah,
out there
just
like, oh
looking,
man.
just watching from a distance. So, but yeah, now I'm part of the family. Now I can come to Thanksgiving dinner with you
Yeah,
guys.
let's
It's
go. We need to, dude, we need to. Speaking of CES, that was on my list this year. I don't know why I didn't go. My wife gets on to me all the time. She's like, you gotta get this stuff on the calendar and go. Like, this is part of your
Mm,
business. It's like you gotta go to a product convention with people who sell products on Amazon, because you make videos about like that. That's like a sales,
Here's
like,
your cheat code, Billy. You want the cheat
whatever.
code for that?
Oh,
I
I'm
have
ready.
a Google calendar that has every month I move it's a sliding event in red that just says 2024 conferences, and I'll update it every single year. And so I move it every single month to the first Saturday of every month. And every time I see a conference that I'm interested in, I grab the URL for it and I'll put it in there. So it's a rolling list of
Oh,
conferences that
nice.
I'm interested in. And then I'll add the specific date of that conference to the calendar as well. So one of the ones I want to go to this year is NAB. So that's going to be later in the year. You got Vid Summit and VidCon and all those types of conferences. So I have
Oh
this
yeah, I need to
running
write
list
that
of
down.
all these types of conferences in one event. And then I also put it on the calendar for when that actual event is. So every month I click on them like, okay, what conferences are coming up this year? And so I look at it literally like 11 times a year just to see what's coming up.
Yeah,
So if I see anything new, I'll just add it to that. But it's a running list.
yeah,
I started about 2 years ago of
that's a
just
good idea.
conferences. Yeah.
Dude, so is there any speaking of events, like is there any events that that are like, and dude, I want to go to an Amazon influencer event, not necessarily hosted by Amazon, but
Mhm.
like, I don't know anybody doing
Amazon
that.
seller events. I would look at
Oh,
Amazon seller
that's
events.
even
They
better.
do have quite a
Yeah.
few in Vegas where the sellers will get together and then they'll have information that pertains to how to sell on Amazon and stuff like
Yeah.
that. So um, our friend
Maybe we go set up a
Gracie,
booth. Maybe we go set up a
yeah,
booth. Talking about hiring some
yeah,
influencers. Or just
yeah,
us, really.
yeah. Well, yeah, Gracie. I'm gonna mispronounce Gracie's last name. Sorry, Gracie. Raback. She's an Amazon influencer, and she goes to a lot of the seller
Yeah, that's a good
events,
idea.
and they invite her out there because they know she's on the influencer side, so she's able to give them that information for that perspective, and she's been able to work with a lot of brands because of those events.
Yeah,
So, yeah, that's an option for you, Billy. Is go to Vegas
that's
for
a good
those
idea.
Amazon seller events.
Yeah, that's a good idea. That's on my list. It would be cool too to have an Amazon creator meetup too. That'd be fun. That'd be fun.
Yeah,
Maybe we put
yeah,
one together.
yeah. I gotta get back with A Hood and David and
Yeah.
Kim Millionaire because I know she has her annual conference, and the last one we did was 2021 at Podfest. So we kind of did that
Oh yeah.
ourselves. Had a pretty good turnout,
Yeah.
but yeah, having an event for the Amazon influencers side of things. So we need to definitely do it on the East Coast because West Coast gets
Yeah.
everything. We need to do it on the
Yeah.
East
Yeah.
Coast.
Yeah. We'll do the East Coast. Now I think Podfest is happening this week, so
Yeah, I
I
think
didn't go
so.
to it. I've never been to it. Even when I was podcasting a lot, everybody I know goes to it. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna put it on my list. I've never been. So,
Yeah,
but now I'm like, I don't even podcast. I don't even know if that'd be beneficial. I mean, it'd be cool to meet people, but I'm not like stoked on podcasting like I was. So
yeah. Unless it's a
part
video
of it.
podcast like this.
Yeah. This is great. And this is I need to turn this into a Actually, dude, I logged into my podcast hosting company the other day and I was like, I'm starting a podcast. And then like right when I was about to hit the plus sign to add a podcast and set it all up, I'm like, I'm not doing that.
So he saw the consistency, he saw the work I need to do, the
Yeah.
promotion I need to do. Let me
Yeah.
push that off into the back burner. And that's why your wife helps you. Just write it down, keep the idea, keep the
Yeah.
notes. So when it's time, because one of the things I'm trying to do is like batch it before I, jump back out there fully because I want to get back into a consistent live stream schedule. If that's a video podcast, interview, something like that. But,
Yeah.
create that buffer where I'm not, trying to ride the hamster wheel every single week, making sure that, oh my gosh, I got to plan it out, got to set up the technicals, got to get the guests lined up the same week. So it's like really trying to just plan that thing out. And that way could just be consistent with it longer than 6 weeks. I think it was 6 weeks. I had my friend Steve Worthy on, and he was talking about the longevity of podcasts and when people fade out was one of
Like
the questions that I asked
episode
him.
7 or something, right?
Yeah, it
Like
was
something
like, yeah,
crazy.
super early. So I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't want to be that guy. So
Yeah.
he gave me some assistance on
Dude,
how to think about the.
yeah, man, it's podcast. I don't know, man. Well, you know what? I started in the content creation space live streaming. I mean, that's where I started, like on my own. Now, I worked for somebody for many years, and I was behind the camera, and we did all kinds of stuff, like from a TV show to live streaming to, early days of like using Skype to record interviews. I mean, we did like all kinds of stuff. And then when I got into it, I started a live fishing show. Like it was a live show. It was always meant to be live. And then podcasting came because people were like, "Hey, can you put this in like audio format only?" And I'm like, "I don't even know what that is." Yeah, sure, whatever. I mean, I've uploaded someone else's podcast before, but never my own. So that's kind of how I got into the podcast world. So I'm definitely in for live streaming this year.
Yeah. Yeah, live streaming is where it's at. I was watching, and I don't know if this is true at all, but I was watching CNBC yesterday, and The Rock, wrestler, actor, entrepreneur, The Rock was on, and he was talking to them about the new deal WWE, I believe, has with Netflix, and the gentleman that was one of the partners of the company was talking about doing a deal with Netflix and how he's uh, really intrigued by Netflix going to broadcast live because I'm like, why is WWE partnering with Netflix? Because for one, I'd use Netflix for I just know it for like watching movies, things that are already
Yeah,
pre-recorded content. but he was talking about this live element, and I was like, "Ooh, that's interesting."
That'd be cool.
Now, and they kind of pressured him in some of the questions about, is Netflix having a live stream capability? And he would not answer the question. And they were like, well, why would you do a deal with the thought of, a live element? Why would you sign
Oh,
this deal? Like,
yeah.
there's something here. And so he would not answer the question. But the Netflix live thing kind of really intrigued me. And so one of the ideas that I have written down on my notes was a quality broadcast, like a
Mhm.
quality live stream where I really paid attention to the camera, the aesthetics, the lower thirds, all that kind of stuff. Like I think like Pat McAfee, like how he kind of did,
Yeah.
like it's a more
Yeah.
professional thing that he took creative control over. And so I've been thinking about that. But then when I heard Netflix Live, there are certain qualifications that you have to have even in your camera to be on Netflix. And
Yeah.
so I was like, ooh, if they introduce that, what would it look like for a content creator, an everyday person to create something at the quality that Netflix wants, but is also something that already established audience is going to watch. So
Yeah.
that's one of the
Mm.
things that is on my idea list, Billy, is
That's pretty
what will
cool.
it be to go live, but go live on Netflix now too.
That'd be sick, dude. Keep me in the loop. And that's the problem. I mean, not a really a problem, but that's where I kind of fall short. Like, when I was doing the Creating Daily show and I was doing daily stuff, like I had all the lower thirds and green screen. I was like having a lot of fun with that. But now I create such simplified content, like even for this show, which we threw this together like last second. But I was over here thinking like, I didn't even put our names on the screen. Maybe people know who I'm talking about, but I put your name in the thing, so that was good. So I'm like
that,
the
that's
least organized. But dude,
that's
with
when we need those
Ecamm,
brand deals.
yeah, and with Ecamm, dude, you can do all that stuff. I mean, I
Yeah.
bet you could run a whole TV program off this thing. Like I mean, maybe not. I don't know what the TV program, but you know what I mean. Like definitely popping in live shows and
With some of the
creating
quality I've
craziness.
seen some of these people have, yeah, we could definitely run a TV because
Yeah.
some of these, uh, established, former players, pro athletes and stuff, some of the quality of their stuff that I'm watching, I'm like, oh, y'all have way more views than I have, and the quality is definitely not there. So,
Yeah.
for someone like us that understands what it takes to produce something that looks good, it ain't got to be like cinema or movie quality, but we as creators make some really good looking content compared to some of the people I've seen that just plugging up a microphone.
Yep.
So, I watch the news, and when they'll have the reporter from home, you look at their green screen, it's all like washed out, or they got the little still fake backgrounds, or they have like the background of doors wide open, like going into the kitchen. I'm like, we at least know how to kind of put together some type of visual aesthetics that look
Yeah.
like we're in a studio, even though like we're in a bedroom, a office. I'm in a freaking basement, but you would never know unless I showed you the wide shot of it. And we could get the brands behind us and say, hey, we got this show, we're pitching it to Netflix. Hey, company, you want to sponsor us so we can have someone produce our live show. Get like I'd hire Kurt Nugent in a minute. Like, Kurt,
Oh yeah.
hey,
Oh yeah.
throw some
Yep.
graphics together and like produce this live show. He produces this for his church. They have thousands of viewers like every single Sunday or every single Saturday, I believe. So he has thousands of viewers. He knows how to produce a show. And that way we can be hands off and just like show up and deliver the content. We still have the technical expertise to say, hey, let's tweak this, let's do that. But we're not, having to click and do it all,
Yeah.
while we're trying to focus on the audience at the same time. I think that's coming, Bill. I
Yeah.
am confident that we as content creators are going to be able to show up even more so than we have in the past.
Yeah, well, and that is an interesting balance because I find myself. I mean, I'm here. I'm with the Stream Deck. People probably see my arm coming and going because I got it in a weird position. But I do find myself even like talking to you. I'm like looking at the chat. I'm looking at this. I'm looking at that. I'm trying to make sure everything's good. Audio levels are good. Stuff's not muted, and so it is very distracting trying to be the producer and the talent at the same time.
Mhm.
Which I do like both of those, but right now I'm like, nah, I'm not paying somebody to come push these buttons. Like, forget that. But dude, yeah, if you could come up with a really good show concept, I mean, I think you could crush it doing a live show. Like, it would be or even getting with those, and this is somebody who maybe like Kirk, or like, I'm not really interested in being the producer of a show. I enjoy being on it. I enjoy being the talent, so to speak, or just running my mouth. I enjoy that part. But you could get with guys who are like the Kelsey brothers. I mean, their
Yeah.
podcast is huge, like one of the number one podcasts in the world. This guy's literally sitting in his living room. It's like,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so the other
No
guy's sitting
camera
in a cool,
switching, no angles,
yeah,
no
nothing.
nothing.
You could go like, hey, pay me X amount of dollars. I'll come to your house. I'll set everything up. I'll control it from a distance. Because with Ecamm,
Right.
dude, you can control all this stuff from afar,
Yeah.
and be able to have multi-camera shots and everything, and control it from a distance, which would be pretty sick.
Yeah. Because they
So
don't even
yeah,
do live. It's recorded, edited, and then put up there. So
and then
you
put up,
really
yeah.
could do a lot with it. With
However,
Ecamm
I
ISO
wonder.
recordings.
I wonder what they say in their unedited shows. I always think about that because some of these things, like who's that comedian that has a growing out, like Theo Vaughn, man, like he says some crazy stuff, and I'm like, he says crazy stuff on the show that was put out. I'm like, I wonder what that dude said
Mhm.
behind the scenes. So there might be a good reason they don't go live.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, Monty, man, it has been fun, dude. I've taken about an hour of your time or so, a little bit more here, so since we have some pre-show chat. But, dude, it's always good to catch up with another content creator, especially somebody I look up to, admire, who got me into this whole Amazon debacle, which is a lot of fun, and it's fun, man. So part of my 2024 goal is to give back. So you're in that private group I'm a part of. I invited you. Thanks for being there, and doing that. But yeah, so part of my goal for 2024 is to give back as much as I can and help other content creators and other Amazon influencers in particular do more brand deals. And then also, I'm testing that kind of group out right now, and then maybe we'll turn it into a paid opportunity for more of my attention. But it's hard to like focus on something that's like not making money versus something that is. Even though I want to help people, it's like, okay, well, my good heart's not paying my bills. Okay, so I gotta find that balance that you've found throughout the years of coaching, helping, consulting, but also keeping the lights on. So it's kind of fun.
My wife was like, "Are you coaching this year? Gonna do some coaching?" I'm like, "I don't know." So we might get back into it, but yeah, I definitely understand, because it's one of those things. Is like, once you learn, you want to give back, you want to help
Yeah.
people, and so just have to find that right balance, and it just has to make sense. So if it doesn't make sense, you just put it in the notebook
Put it in
until
the
it does
notebook,
make
man.
yeah.
Well, dude, so where can people connect with you? Like, what's your main focus this year? Like, what's the next, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 months look like for you? What do you got your head on?
Yeah, so YouTube is definitely the focus right now, is creating better quality videos. So I'm trying to step up my quality game. It takes me a little bit longer these days to edit and record and script out these videos in a way that I can just more so easily deliver it. So the Monte Weaver YouTube channel is definitely the best place to find my content, especially if you're looking for techie related stuff. That's probably the only thing you're gonna find there. And then on Amazon, you'll probably find me around the products pages on Amazon. So I do want to do I do want to get back into doing some Amazon live stream, not so much because it makes financial sense, but it does allow me to go live. And when you don't do something for a while, you kind of forget some of the nuances of it. So I do want to keep showing up live somewhere, and I think that's going to be the best place for me to show up live and kind of have some creative freedom on a platform that allows me to do so. And like you said, there's benefits to being an influencer, if you will, with products. And I get to just talk about stuff in front of people. Okay, that's cool. So I'm going to talk about it anywhere when I unbox it anyway. So
Yeah.
Amazon.com/shop/Monte Weaver. So
You can go find that sweater on there.
yeah, it's on the last live stream. So the most recent live stream is up there. So you can go buy the sweater. It helps out the family. My family is appreciative of all the purchases that you made from my affiliate link, and we'll thank you from the Caribbean later in the year, or
And you
Disney
don't
or
even have to
somewhere.
go watch the video again. Just
Yeah,
go
you
right
ain't
to the
gotta watch the video.
carousel. Just buy
Yeah,
it.
I don't care if
Just
you watch
ride.
the video or not. Yeah, just click.
Yeah.
Just click the
I'm
link.
gonna go look, and then I'm gonna hunt down that brand. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Move over, Bradley and Monty. I'm coming in for it.
uh,
Real quick, I want to say hi to Chris Stone. He just jumped in, so
what's going on,
appreciate you,
Chris?
Chris. Chris is hustling, man. He's always got content flying out. I'm like, he is.
Yeah.
I don't know how he does it, man. Every time I look at his Instagram, I'm like, oh, that's a new piece of content. Oh, that's a new piece of content. If I could put out one piece a month, I'm like feeling pretty good about myself over there.
Chris has been popping up in all my LinkedIn feed, so I've started using LinkedIn a little bit more here recently, and I always see Chris on LinkedIn.
Oh, dude, I'm not. I need to go over there. There's so many platforms, man. I can't keep up.
Yeah.
I just focus on one right now. That's all I got. That's all I got time to do. So, well, man, I appreciate you, dude. It's been fun. Thanks for jumping on the impromptu text message of like, hey, you want to go live? Let's go. It's always fun, and hopefully, I think a lot of people will get some value out of this, man. We talked about a lot of fun stuff and hopefully some creative ideas. And now I'm gonna go finish coughing up whatever's been stuck in my throat for the last half hour. I appreciate you, Monty. We'll talk to you soon, man. Thank you.
Sounds good, Billy.